Now, as most of you already know that back in Q4 of 2022, NIO sold around 40,052 cars, which resulted in them, of course, generating total revenues, including non-car sales, of around $2.3 billion. Now, this, of course, when we go further into those earnings, going into the vehicle sales, they generated around $2.14 billion. Now, ladies and gents, the reason why I'm bringing those numbers back is because you will know that right now in Q3, for the first 2 months, NIO sold over 39,700 vehicles. I mean, if you are to subtract those 40,052 cars against the 39,791 vehicles, which is the current 2 months deliveries, you will notice that the difference is only 261. Now, here is where it gets tricky, or it gets really interesting. Well, you will know that, as I've said, the number of revenues they generated from their sales, or from their car sales or vehicle sales, was around $2.14 billion. And back in Q4 of 2022, you will know that the model that was seriously boosting the NIO sales was the ET5, which even today is the cheapest model that you can buy out of NIO, meaning that even the revenues, when you check the average sale price per vehicle, you'll notice that it was a bit lower, because most cars that were being sold then were, of course, or during that quarter, was, of course, the ET5 mid sedan. I mean, you will know that during some time, one of the month, I think it was October, we saw, of course, that model generating over 7,000 vehicles on a single month, which is something that, of course, it was good back then. But the tricky part, as I've said, is that that was the cheapest model, meaning that the average, of course, car sales of NIO was a bit lower. But now the situation, based on these 39,791 vehicles that we have seen from July, or on July and August, the average sale price per car, it is now has now went up, because right now we have got the ES8, which is currently doing well. I mean, the first month, or in July, which is the first month of Q3, it saw over 1,500 sales. Second month, which is August, it saw over 2,369 vehicles, which is something that is great. Now, the reason why I'm talking about the ES8, well, is because it's one of the most expensive cars you can buy from NIO, and to get to see it, when we add month 1 and month 2, we are around 4,000. Makes me to be really excited, because, ladies and gents, it is going to definitely boost the kind of revenues that we have received from these 2 months. It is for this reason that I believe that NIO, for the first 2 months, the total revenues that they might be standing at, or the vehicles revenue that they might be sitting at, might be exactly the same, or might be around $2.1 billion, because right now, though these the vehicles of these first 2 months are still a bit lower by 261 against those Q4 deliveries, this quarter, the difference is that NIO has got quite good expensive cars which are selling in numbers, like the ES8, which, of course, it is quite good. I mean, even the ES6 itself, it is not priced same as, of course, the ET5 Touring and the ET5, which are being sold at the same price, but it is still a bit expensive comparing to the ET5, which means that, of course, even the numbers or the revenues, they have increased, which this justifies the point that I'm trying to drive here, and that is the point of saying that the average purchase sale per car has increased, or has gone up, meaning that the total revenues that NIO is currently sitting at on these 2 months, they might be around $2.1 billion, which is something that is incredible, because you will know that, of course, NIO for this quarter, they are planning to generate total revenues of up to $2.7 billion, of which, looking at the kind of deliveries that they might produce for this month, ladies and gents, chances are very high that NIO is going to thresh those kind of earnings, or those kind of revenue guidance they gave us during their Q2 earnings. So I'm very excited to get to see that we might be sitting at the kind of revenues that we were sitting at back in Q4, and we still remember on this month still left with the September deliveries, which are to expected to come, of course, beginning of October, which, of course, I cannot wait to see the total number of vehicles that NIO sells for this month. Although they've given themselves of course, a delivery guidance of between 55 and 57,000, which I believe they're going to beat. That, ladies and gents, not only will it produce a new record in terms of the deliveries, but the revenues also would have increased, which is something that is incredible. Now, you will know that NIO not only generate their revenues from car sales, but they've also other sales, which you will know that they've been reporting, or at least over $100 million on the month to month, which is something that, of course, that should improve the more we get to see more consumers coming and joining the NIO car, because chances are when people buy NIO cars, they also want to be part of the lifestyle products, or join and buy NIO's lifestyle products, which is something that, of course, it is quite incredible. I mean, with battery swapping station technology, charging infrastructure, NIO generates their revenues from all these other, of course, side of the business, or other things, which are the ones that constitute to the other sales that we usually see, of course, in the total revenues that NIO generates on a quarter or quarter to quarter, which is something that is good, right? So I just thought I should just give you this quick update. Otherwise, before I forget, the house rules, you already know that this video is just an entertainment video and not a professional financial advice video. And I would appreciate if you can just hit the like button if you are enjoying the content that I'm giving you about NIO getting to $2.1 billion of revenue with the 2 months of quarter 3, which we have seen at this point. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, because on this channel NIO is one of the stocks that I talk a lot about, because I believe in their fundamentals and their future prospects. So yes, for the first 2 months of quarter 3, NIO, I believe that they are sitting around the kind of revenues we saw them sitting, especially in the car sales, back in 2022, which is making me to be really excited. And I just thought I'd just give you this quick updates, because NIO is doing pretty good. I know the gross margins, ladies and gents, is one of the things that have been disappointing investors, because you'll know that in of course, in the Q2 earnings, NIO reported gross margins of 1%, which were not good, but they've promised the gross margin, or they've promised or announced that they are seeing their gross margins going back into double digits now in Q3, which is it possible? I think absolutely, because like I said, the kind of cars that NIO was selling in the Q2 are not the kind of cars that NIO is selling right now in Q3 when you look in the price, because right now NIO is selling the ES8, which obviously those are some of the cars that NIO boost their gross margins from, because they're a bit expensive or priced up, and to get to see that it is performing quite well, it will boost, of course, their gross margins. ES6 is another vehicle together with the other cars, so I believe that the gross margins will improve together with, of course, the cash at hand that NIO has, because that is another, of course, content that I see some investors raising about NIO. I think it will improve, because you'll know that part of the reason why probably cash and cash equivalent on NIO has been going down is because of R&Ds. NIO in the previous quarters, they have been they are mainly focusing on R&Ds, or research and development projects, so that at least they can get to where they are today. I mean, we already know that there is a sort of like a prototype of the YASA brand Alps, which of course we might get to see it being unveiled in NIO Day 2023, which is why there was a concern of NIO burning a lot of cash in Q2, which I think from here it can be better, because NIO's executives together with the team, they are now focused on selling more cars rather than, of course, R&Ds. Yes, R&Ds are still there, but I think they will keep them to a minimum, while they of course focus more into generating sales or bringing in sales onto NIO. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I make tons and tons of stock market investing videos, and if you think that this video was amazing, please don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to hit or click that notification bell, so that at least you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Otherwise, as I've said, the 261 vehicles that we are seeing from Q4, or when you compare Q4 of 2022 against the first 2 months of Q3, I don't think it's that much of a train smash. I know the revenues for the 2 months that I'm talking about might be slightly below or above, but nonetheless, I think they are around the same kind of revenues we saw for the entire Q4 earnings. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And before you buy NIO, please do make sure that you do your own due diligence, that at least you can be comfortable as you are investing onto this stock. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.